Hello, I'm Mike Grasher, Chief Financial Officer of the Fortegra Group, a global specialty insurance company headquartered right here in Jacksonville, Florida. On behalf of Fortegra, we would like to welcome you to the 2022 High School 9-12 Fortegra Basketball Invitational presented by CSI Companies. At Fortegra, our mission is to deliver reliable risk management solutions. We're also committed to giving back to our local communities. That's why we're proud to sponsor the 5th annual Fortegra High School 9-12 Basketball Invitational at Florida State College of Jacksonville. If you'd like to learn more about our career opportunities here in Jacksonville, please visit Fortegra.com. Best of luck to all of the incredible student athletes playing here today.
Camden County Wildcats. Starting at guard is 6'1" junior number 1, Marley Riddle. At another guard, a 6'1" junior number 4, Earl Murray. And at guard at 5'11" junior number 11, Dylan Williams. At guard, a 6' senior number 15, Hayden Heath. And at forward, a 6'4" junior number 5, Nigel Cooper. The Wildcats are coached by Billy Moore.
Good afternoon from the Florida State College at Jacksonville, ready for the third and final day of the 5th annual Fortegra Invitational presented by the CSI Company. Sean Salisbury with Coach Toby Frazier today. A couple of great semifinals we saw yesterday, now ready for 4 games, a day full of basketball, really a basketball junkie's dream.
You know, it's exciting, Sean, to be at the last day. A wonderful event so far. We have 2 teams here today have yet to win in this tournament. Hopefully we get a good battle.
We have the Camden County Wildcats and Raines Vikings ready to go head-to-head. Starting lineups being announced right now. And you mentioned that, you know, it's 3 full days of basketball. Now you're playing your 3rd game in 3 days. It's a little bit of an earlier start to Saturday. As the former coach, you always get worried about some of these earlier starts, especially on a Saturday when you're out of your routine.
You know, that's the price that you pay for being in a loser's bracket. You know, you get those early games, but, you know, you have to accept the challenge at hand. The game still counts, so you got to give your best opportunity to win the game today, even though it's an early start.
Raines without several notable players, a couple due to suspension, a couple due to taking some tests today for their future academic endeavors. Starting for the Vikings, though, it will be Ja'Cory Smalls, Josh Bass, Omarion White, Gerald Hobbs. Meanwhile, for the Camden County Wildcats, Marley Riddle, Earl Murray, Denigel Cooper, Dylan Williams, and Caden Heath. Starting lineups brought to you by Bonos. Camden County wins the tap. They come in today just 1-6 on the season. We're hoping this experience really pays off as they turn it over on the opening possession. Bringing it up the floor, this is Gerald Hobbs, the junior. Expected to take on a primary ball handling role today due to several players being out, like we mentioned, including their top 2 scorers in Trayvon Nevarez and Navante Ivy. This is Bass, runner in the lane, off the backboard and rim, no good. Rebound cleared by Denigel Cooper.
You know, I like the idea of Raines coming out with pressure defense. You know, they're playing a little bit desperation basketball right now. They're undermanned, but I like the idea of playing aggressive defense to start this game off to set the tone.
Only 3 subs. And not only are they missing 4 notable players, they're missing their coach too. Tony Bannister not here today due to a family emergency. Good looking 3 on the way. It goes down. Dylan Williams gets the party started, and a quick timeout already for the Vikings.
It's a good shot by Dylan Williams. You know, anytime you get a three-point shot to go in early, it provides a lot of confidence for the duration of the game. It's a nice shot by him.
That's what you like to see as a coach too, right? The ball movement, and hey, an open shot's going to be a good shot for you. Don't force it.
And with this being the last day of the tournament, you know, the two previous games have provided a lot of experience. The kids have had an opportunity to play. They're a lot more familiar with the surroundings on the last day. You know, they're a lot more comfortable. And you want to leave here with the win if you can.
Camden County last appeared in the Fortegra Invitational in 2020 as Raines steps out of bounds. They did finish in 8th place, but it's important to note they won 4 straight games, finished out the rest of that season with a winning record, right? Isn't that just the mentality of any coach saying, hey, we're going to want to test our guys, we're going to build them up and know, hey, this is probably the best competition you're going to face all year.
And that's what these tournaments are for you to get experience against foreign opponents in a neutral site, and you take those experiences back to your respective districts, your respective regions, and you let it catapult you into success in the second half of your season. It's not always about, you know, what happens early. So what about happens at the end?
Well, how about in Camden County's case, across state lines? Taking about a 40-minute bus ride from campus to come down here for 3 straight days. Good pass to the corner, but the 3 no good from Raines after the Ja'Cory Smalls miss a foul in the backcourt on the Vikings.
You know, Sean, the connections, you know, around our area, Camden County's athletic director, Welton Coffey, was a former Raines football coach that won the first state championship for that Raines team, Raines program.
The Vikings had another great winning season, came up short in the regional playoffs. Still won 9 games yet again. Have a couple of football players, rather, that literally and figuratively are big for them on the court here, but out today due to taking the ACT. Kobe Hobbs directs traffic. Hobbs kicks it back out. Good fake, but better recovery and a foul going on Earl Murray. Oh, he can't believe it. He thought he recovered and got the block in time. So did his head coach, Billy Moore.
That's a good job, rotating over. You like to see kids make extra efforts on defense. My teammate gets beat off the dribble. It's my responsibility as the next line of defense to rotate over and help. You can't stand and watch and allow your teammate just to get beat. You have to play defense as a team.
Isn't that what really stood out in our 2 semifinals yesterday as Providence eked out a win and Nice really dominated with a stifling, stout defensive effort?
And that's where it all starts. You know, I like to say the team with the least points loses, not the team with the most points win.
Well, Raines, after a good contest on one end, they turn it over, but force one right back. This Raines team in game 1 of this tournament against Oakleaf trailed 31-4 at halftime. And that's got to be tough, and then afterwards your top 2 scorers wind up getting suspended. They're trying to settle in here. Still early stages of this one. 3 minutes in. Pull-up jumper on the way. It's too strong from Smalls. Second chance for the Vikings. And a whistle stops play for a jump ball. Possession arrow keeps it here.
You know, these two teams they're evenly matched from a size perspective. And, you know, with the competition that they both faced this weekend, you have to take the adversity that you've experienced with a grain of salt, and you have to keep it moving. You know, the gym is a little empty right now. That can feel funny for young kids. But you have to focus on what your coach is telling you to do, and you just go out and compete for your team.
Good pass in the open floor. And an offensive foul call on the Vikings. Bass running a good lane in transition. But the defense got back in time, and Marley Riddle takes the charge.
It's a good charge take by Riddle. You'd like to see those plays. It got the bench excited. Those are team plays, winning plays, glue guy plays. Those are plays where you sacrifice your body for your team.
Good pass inside, and the finish there for Nigel Cooper. You got to wrap up the point on Riddle. Would you be surprised if I told you he's a great two-way player on the Camden County football team?
I would not be surprised. The football, and I hope the Florida people don't jump on me for this, but the football in Georgia is a different animal. It's a very different animal in Georgia.
Maybe they'll claim credit and say Southeast Georgia, Northeast Florida, it's the same thing, right?
Well, some people would say that.
But not you. It was funny, even some of the Camden County staff, they were talking about saying, hey, 40-minute bus ride, that's not bad. In some of our region, we have teams from the Atlanta area. That's a 5-hour bus ride. They're trying to get out and running here. Pass intended for one of their top scorers, Earl Murray, deflected out of bounds. Camden County with an early lead just past the midway point of the first quarter. Good turnaround look from Murray, just too strong. Rebound controlled by the Vikings.
This game has a lull to it right now. I would be interested to see what coach decides to change defenses to try to change the flow and the tempo of this game.
Cooper sends it out to Riddle, blocked on the other end by Hobbs. Now the Vikings tripped up. 2-on-2 the other way. Deflected ball finds an open Wildcat player, and Murray scores. Averaging about 11 points per game this year. Sticks with it, and 3:06 to go in the first quarter. We have another Vikings timeout. They'll step aside for a moment with 3:06 to go in the first quarter. Camden County in front, 7-1. Back at the Florida State College at Jacksonville. Game 1 of 4 today in the 5th annual Fortegra Invitational. 3 straight days of non-stop basketball. Kicking things off with our 7th place game. Each of these two teams drop games on Thursday and Friday. Important to come away with a win, but both coaches really echo the same message of, you're going to be tired. You're going to see how much you have left. Other guys that maybe seldom used off the bench sometimes are going to be asked to play bigger roles. It's time to see who's ready to come out and compete.
And that fatigue factor that you spoke of, I think that's why you see, the coach from Raines electing to play a lot of zone defense so far.
Earl Murray with another basket. Yeah, we certainly saw two contrasting styles yesterday. A fast and furious pace with Oakleaf and Providence in that overtime thriller, and then Nice more than happy to take the air out of the ball, really be much more methodical, sometimes taking full 60 to 90 seconds off the clock. That three draws air from the Vikings. Quickly the other way with Murray, already with a couple of baskets in the opening period. Good help defense from Raines inside. Mid-range Jay on the way, off the back of the iron. Good rebound again from the Vikings, Gerald Hobbs, thrust into the starting role today. But the Vikings just not taking care of the ball. Riddle all alone, thought about the dunk, but just lays it in to play it safe.
You know, there is no defense for a live ball turnover. You try to stay away from your live ball turnovers. It puts you in an adverse situation in transition, and it usually leads to an easy bucket like we just saw.
Raines with a drive, no good from Hobbs. Another transition chance. Unselfish. Murray gives it up to Riddle. The transition game starting to power this Camden County run. Wouldn't be able to tell this team is 1-6 on the season coming into today. Important to note, they've only played one home game so far this year. Well, they are playing tough, and under 10th year head coach Billy Moore, now they've had some good seasons in the past decade, including just 2 years ago. They won 21 games, but coming off a 12-16 season a year ago, they lose 5 seniors that were also their top 5 players in minutes per game and points per game. Never an easy task to replace that much production. They miss on the 3 there. Hobbs with a strong drive with the left hand. An acrobatic finish to give Raines its first field goal.
It's a nice move by Hobbs. Using his right hand on the left side, shoulders to shield the defender. That's a great finish.
And now, after a strong rebound by Michael Merritt, he'll draw the foul and give Raines one more possession in the first quarter.
You know, Sean, realistically, this is a 10-point basketball game. The scoreboard looks funny sometimes to kids. You look up there and you see you only have 3, they have 13. But it's only a 10-point deficit, and it's very attainable to conquer.
Miscommunication and another Raines turnover. Sloppy start for the Vikings, but plenty of time to make it up here. After 1, it's Camden County 13, Raines 3. The Fortegra Invitational is brought to you by Fortegra. Let's reach new heights together. CSI Companies, your workforce solutions reinvented. Bono's Pit Barbecue, Land South Construction, and by Duval Motor Company, proudly serving Northeast Florida since 1916. Second quarter coming up next. Start of the second quarter, Camden County trying to walk away with its second win of the season. Strong start after really testing themselves. Played Oakleaf in game 1. Lost a heartbreaker to Ware County by 1. Really frustrated Nice at times as they miss a couple of tries inside. They'll work it back out to Earl Murray. Good extra pass cross court, and that 3 is pure. Corey Leclerc had a team-high 20 points yesterday. Fresh off the bench, gets on the scoreboard.
And their ball movement, you know, started halfway through the first quarter. Their ball movement has been really good. You know, guys have been sacrificing their good shot to get their teammate a better shot, and there's another example of that from that last possession.
Yeah, right. Didn't we see that in the first possession of the game where Camden County made the same shot?
Love to see the ball movement with young kids.
Especially trying to break down this zone. It's Murray off the mark, tapped around, inside, 1-on-2. It didn't matter. Landon Martin standing tall at 6'4". He's going to be a tough mismatch all day for Raines.
That's a nice offensive rebound. He's a He's a nice-looking kid, pretty athletic.
And altered that shot inside from Raheem Roberts. Another three, another one down the hatch. LeClaire with a couple of trays in the opening minutes of the second quarter.
LeClaire's making up for lost time. He's begging for some more playing time.
Nearly a strip. Hobbs hangs on to it. They reset before giving it out. Off the front of the rim and out of bounds. Last touch by the Wildcats, Martin.
That was a good job by Joshua Bass, that last possession of meeting that pass. If he doesn't meet that pass, that's a steal and a layup. A good job of him shortening the distance for his teammate.
Raines inbounds, trailing 21-3. And it's been tough for them, a team that lost in the district championship last year. Finished 14-12 a year ago, but also in the middle of a rebuild themselves. LeClaire not shy, can't hit his third straight three off the bench. And it'll hit the connector to the basket, so out of bounds, back to Raines.
So I want to ask you a question, Sean, about that last shot.
I hope I can answer it.
So why does a heat check have to be with another three-pointer? Why can't we check the heat with a layup or a 15-foot pull-up?
That sounds like a non-shooter to me. Well, Coach, I hit the first two. I mean, come on. But no, is that the coach saying law of averages? He can't make all three.
No, it's just, you know, it just seems like the heat check is usually further and further away from the first two that we made.
Well, how about this one? Another one. It's a bit strong, but 2 for 4 from deep. And now Billy Moore is going to look at his guard and say, okay. Coach Moore composed, but he gave the head tilt. I think every player understands the message there.
You know, the only time you shoot too many threes is when you miss too many. The only time you shoot too many. You making them, nobody's going to say anything.
The only answer I'll give you to your question is, as long as it's not a long two. All my coaches said that's the worst shot in basketball.
I will agree with that.
Mid-range, fine, but long twos, foot on the line, that's going to have you running laps. Gerald Hobbs, the junior, pulls it back. On the drive, Raines looking for any sliver of space. Three nearly banked in. Strong rebound by Earl Murray. The junior, averaging close to 11 per game, gives it up before getting it right back. Unselfishly hands it off, and the open jumper goes down. Caleb Reed, the latest Wildcat to score.
It's good offense by Camden County there. Nice patience, unselfish team.
And now Raines getting caught in traffic, but Hobbs winds up drawing the foul. Fourth team foul on the Wildcats here in the first half, nearly midway through this second quarter. Again, if you missed the beginning of our broadcast, Raines missing a couple of key players due to suspension and also because of the ACT this morning. Also missing their head coach, Tony Bannister, due to personal reasons. Hope everything's okay with him and his family. But again, like you would in any scenario in a tournament where you're playing 3 games in 3 days, like interim head coach, and normal assistant Joel Reddick, a Raines grad, he said that's the same message we tell our players. Just find ways to be ready. Ask yourself how you can contribute. What can you do on this stage to earn more playing time later in the season?
And you want to control what you can control. You know, you're facing a lot of adversity right now as a team. You're missing some teammates. You're missing your head coach, the familiar voice that you're used to hearing. And you want to use this opportunity to show how much you can get done in an adverse situation. This is a good life lesson today for these kids.
Now bring it up the floor. Another whistle halts play. Caleb Reed, the latest Wildcat to be charged with a foul, only his first. Hobbs handling the point for most of today. And a straight line to the basket. Nigel Cooper was waiting for him, and the 6'4" junior more than happy to take the charge.
And he is built to take charges. I don't think that fazed him one bit.
It felt like a fullback.
The size on him.
Lob it up. Still goes to Murray. Still goes down for two. A little look from Caden Heath, but well, even the senior can understand. Hey, 2 points are 2 points for our team. Hobbs couldn't finish in front. Leak out the other way. Caleb Reed ahead of the pack, scores in transition. It is all Wildcats in the first half.
Their efficiency is off the charts in this first half, primarily because they're shooting most layups in transition. But even in a half court, they've shared the ball well, and they have made majority of their open shots.
They've been very unselfish. Is that a good way you describe this first half from Camden County's team effort?
Exactly how I would explain it from a coach's perspective. And you like to see that with your team. It's whosoever will trust each other, share the basketball, sacrifice your good shot for your teammate to get a better shot.
Loose ball inside. Good team defense from Raines there. Helping start the break. But an off-balance runner. Missed by Jay Childs. And Earl Murray will tell him that's how you finish.
Another layup there. It's been a layup drill so far in this first half for Camden County.
Starting to approach dangerous territory for the Vikings. The running clock triggered in the second half at any time the score is above a 35-point margin. Good drive, better block. And it last went off the Vikings. Caleb Reed providing a spark off the bench. The sophomores had a number of highlights in the first half.
You know, it's pleasant as a coach. I get goosebumps when I see players that sell out on the defensive end of the floor, take charges, rotate over block shots. Those are the things that help you win basketball games.
Another three for a three-level scorer, Earl Murray. Already near double figures in the first half, coming up on 2 to play. Good feed inside. And the block there for the Wildcats. New player, same result, Elijah Geary. Helps the Wildcats get down the court. And off the miss, he finishes. Defense and offense for Geary. And Raines forced to call its third timeout. 1:52 to play in the first half. Camden County, after being so close, you should say, against Nice, they really frustrated at times. And for a team that's playing in our championship game later tonight, Josh Balin was honest in saying, yeah, we're up 27-11 at half, but Camden County has some guys where they dug in, frustrated us. We were maybe working on our stall offense a little bit too, but we weren't really trying to kill the game or anything. We just simply could not score like we could in the first half against them.
And the game presents different challenges. Each quarter is different. Each half is different. And, you know, a lot of times from a coach's perspective, you have things that you want to get accomplished during a game, but your players don't allow you to they have different ideas. You may want to stall. They may want to shoot. It's just a difference in mindset. But this Camden County team, what they're able to do today during this game with Raines, it will give them a lot of confidence going back home.
Yeah, remember this team in the 2020 Fortegra Invitational, they lost 3 games. West Nassau beat them by 20, lost to Fletcher in overtime, and then Atlantic Coast in that third game in 3 days. Lost a little bit of steam, fell by 8. But afterwards, heading around that Christmas time where you're still playing in more tournaments, you have a lot of games before the new semester starts. Raines coughs it up there. They won 4 straight games. They finished the season with a winning record after starting 2-7. In order to turn that around and just try to work your way back to 500, that's not an easy thing to do. But again, it's a testament to the level of talent in this 18 field that can really help you down the line.
And it's the diversity of the opponents. You can leave this tournament with good film against athletic teams, teams that can shoot it, teams with size, and all of those are takeaways.
Corey LeClaire with his third three of the quarter, stretching it to a 33-point lead. We enter the final minute of the first half. LeClaire has it in the corner, finds the cutter. Great pass, nice move on the run. After he missed the lob earlier, Caden Heath rewarded with a nice effort on the rim run.
It's a good basket cut. I haven't seen something similar to a give and go in years. I don't even know if give and go is still a thing in basketball anymore. But I may be showing my age a little bit.
How about that? Good vision from Raines. Omarion White picks up the assist to Kobe Hobbs.
It's a nice pass.
Murray brings it back out with 10. Heath whips it inside. They find the open man. Murray sinks it. Heave at the buzzer, won't go, and that ends an impressive first 16 minutes from the Camden County Wildcats. Racing out to a 42-6 lead at the break. We'll step aside and come back with one of our great corporate sponsors, James Sally of Duval Dealers, on the other side at half. Welcome back to the Florida State College at Jacksonville. Sean Salisbury, joined by one of our many great corporate partners in this 5th annual Fortegra Invitational, James Sally of Duval Dealers, the GM of Duval Acura for the last 3 years. I know it's been a journey for you. You were just saying you're from Pensacola, but you've been along the First Coast for a while now. What's it like being a part of this? What do you like most about sponsoring this great event?
Well, what I love most about it is one of our main mantras within the company is service first, and one of that is serving our community. And what better way to be able to serve the community, have an impact in young individuals' lives, and help them get a great foundation.
Yeah, and I know you guys love talking about the Duval difference, the Duval real deal. Describe it for us. What does that mean outside of car sales and what you were just saying?
So the Duval difference and the Duval real deal, the Duval difference is how we just treat people differently, treat our clients differently, our associates, as well as the community. With that, we like to do business where it's in a negotiation-free selling system, straight, transparent pricing. My salesmen aren't paid on commission, they're paid on salary. That way they have the customer's best interest in mind and not their own. In addition to, we have a 5-day money-back guarantee whenever it comes into buying the cars. We service all makes and models. We pick up and delivery for our clients for service. And then we love to be a part of the community in sponsorships just like this and many others as well.
I know, break it down for me. How big of a sports fan are you? What do you enjoy most about seeing the local competition battle it out here for 3 straight days?
I grew up playing basketball. I played high school basketball. Wasn't good enough to make it in the collegiate level. But this brings back a lot of great memories of the times that I had as a young high school kid playing, and the competition's been great. The boys are playing very well, and it's neat to see how well they play.
Yeah, I know you're all dressed up now. You got to take us through some of the playing days out in Pensacola. What do you remember most, or what did you love most about playing growing up? And then, just to see these kids kind of do that thing 20 years later.
I think what I loved the most about it was the camaraderie, the being able to work together as a team because it's not an individual sport, and I think that helped set a lot of foundation for what happens in life from there on out.
And then for anybody trying to reach you, anybody that want to be a part of the Duval Real Deal, how can they reach you? How can they find you guys?
So you can go to Duval Motor Company, which represents all of our stores that we have, which is Duval Honda, Duval Ford, Duval Acura, which I run. We have Subaru of Gainesville, as well as Duval Chevy in Stark. But you can go to my store, duvalacura.com, meet us there, and easy.
Well, we appreciate you dressing up and stopping by today. Any other plans for your Saturday? Anything fun going on?
Well, there's a lot more competition to be had, so looking forward to seeing the competition.
Good answer, James. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
That's James Sally of Duval Dealers, the GM of Duval Acura. Check him out online or visit him in person. Once again, James Sally stopping by. Second half between Raines and Camden County coming up in just a few minutes. Welcome back. Start of the second half. About to be underway between Raines and Camden County in our first of 4 games today. Sean Salisbury sitting shotgun to the point guard. Toby Frazier today. 16 minutes left in this tournament. Obviously, one team has to get 8th place, another gets 7th. What do you want to see, especially with Raines trailing by this much?
You want to see them show some resolve. Don't focus on the score at this point. Just try to make productive plays, positive plays, stay upbeat, and just get out of here with some positive possessions under your belt.
Yeah, not easy when you're missing pretty much every starter that you're used to having. And Joe Reddick even said it too, the interim head coach today, due to a family emergency for Tony Bannister. He said, you know, it's kind of all of us, but we're going to learn and say, hey, if one of our guys gets in foul trouble later in the year or somebody gets hurt, you're going to have to be ready to step up like today.
And this is what opportunities do for you. It provides adversity as well as opportunities. It's how you want to take them. They faced a lot of adversity today, and hopefully they find some things that they can take away and build on for the duration of their season.
Well, coming out of the half, we will start with a running clock at a 36-point margin. Wildcats work it inside, just too much to handle. To Nigel Cooper on both ends of the floor, packing a punch.
It's a strong move by Cooper. Nice drop step, strong finish.
Now look at him save that ball too. Had no reason to save it. Starts the break for the Wildcats. Earl Murray, their leading scorer, can't finish, but a good second chance for Marley Riddle. Second on the Wildcats in rushing for a great football team this year that was upended in the second round of the state playoffs. Also one of their leading tacklers, and oh yeah, he can hoop too.
You know, Sean, we talked about, you know, some keys for Raines going into the second half, but also for Camden County, if you're Coach Moore, you don't want your team to get complacent. You want them to finish this with some authority.
Murray open again, can't knock it down. How about another offensive rebound, except Riddle throws this one away. Good transition defense from the Wildcats. Raines' opportunities have come few and far between. Good drive, finish not there. On the offensive rebound in traffic, Raines winds up saving it. Back out to Josh Bass. Bass from the wing, can't hit. And Cooper all alone underneath. Clears another strong defensive possession for the Wildcats. A very balanced team that they can really throw 10, 11 guys out there at any given time. In fact, in a 1-point loss to Ware County, they had all 11 players who played score in that game. The only problem was nobody reached double figures. But they do have some prolific players, like this guy here, Riddle. Driving down the lane, can't finish with the left, and they'll say jump ball. Possession keeps it with Raines. But right, don't coaches like seeing that effort? I know you don't want to see that foul committed. Where are you when you miss a shot and then trying to go for that ball?
I don't like it because if you make that shot, you just get back on defense. So I try to coach my guys, you know, when I was coaching, to move on to the next play. Missing a shot, nobody tries to miss a shot. We all understand that. Don't try to get it back. That foul can come back to bite us later on in the game. And it puts us in an adverse situation where we're playing maybe 5-on-4 or 3-on-2 with a good pitch ahead pass if you try to stay back and get a deflection because you missed a shot. So,
lesson learned as Murray steps up to the line with the clock running and a big lead for the Wildcats. Under Billy Moore, they've had a couple of 20-win seasons, also won 18 and 19 games in the last decade. Maybe a bit of a frustrating start. But could this be the start of better things to come for the Wildcats, especially when they start playing more in-state competition? But they still have stacked region and stacked opponents across state lines. But Billy Moore, some of his staff, really did like to compliment and saying, yeah, we wanted to come back here even though we finished in 8th place 2 years ago. We want our kids to understand we're not going to shy away from the challenge, and we want to come out and be a little bit better.
And you don't want to duck competition. Like, you want to see where you are as a coach. You always want to know where you are amongst your competitors. And you find that out by playing a tough schedule. And competition, good competition, never hurt anybody.
Now pushing the lane on Ja'Cory Smalls. Right off the inbound, missed 3, but Cooper twisting and turning, a nice pirouette finish.
Nice finish by Cooper. You know, he has a Zion Williams type frame on him. You know, he's just a nice, solid kid.
I don't know if he can do Zion's dunk from last night at the end of that game, but yeah, see, he is a force at 6'4", 220. Murray, long pass. Still finds his teammate, Dylan Williams. He picked it up in a tight spot. And will give it back to the team's leading scorer.
You know, it's hard in these situations, Sean, to not play the score, but you can't allow your kids on either side. Camden County's up by 40. Raines is down by 40. And at this point, it's not about the game. It's about us just getting better as a team. You can't focus on the score.
Kobe Hobbs with a nice effort in transition, got up the floor, and even with the defense on his back, finishes at the rim. I know this is something I've heard a lot of coaches all over the country say at multiple levels. It comes down to habits, right? What are your habits? How do you carry yourself as an individual up 40 or down 40? What are the habits you look for at this stage in the game with about 10 minutes left?
You know, small things, meeting passes, holding your follow-through on shots, boxing out, you know, sprinting the floor, talking on defense, taking charges. You know, things that doesn't necessarily show up on the scoreboard, but they're very important to the bottom line of the program, not necessarily the game that's going on right now. So you want to stay detail-oriented. You know, from a coaching perspective, you almost get a little bit more detail-oriented in these type of situations because you don't want your kids to take possessions for granted because the score looks a certain way.
There's a 3 for Raines. Knocked down by Ja'Cory Smalls. Senior looks to be a little hobbled on this defensive possession. Raines only with 8 available players today. Trying to walk it off. As the Wildcats will go with the near mass sub here and approaching the final minute of the 3rd quarter. LeClaire already with 3 threes, misses there, but cleaned up by Elijah Geary. Man, you take out Cooper, and then there's Geary, same height, same size to fill the void.
That's a nice luxury to have as a coach. You could take out one explosive athlete and put in another big who can contribute.
Foul underneath on Camden County. That'll be charged to Murray, a 2nd foul. Camden County playing well, tested themselves in the season opener against Oakleaf. Also Glen Academy. They get the steal and the score. They've been fast up the floor today. Caleb Reed, the latest to get a bucket and a foul. He'll shoot 1 in the closing seconds of the period.
You know, it's a fun way to play basketball is playing in transition. And you try to get kids to understand if you don't want to slow the ball down, you got to be able to run. You know, a big part of that is playing that style is getting out, taking initiative, and running the floor, and that's a good possession there by Camden County.
Keeping their foot on the gas out of the locker room. An impressive start continues into the 2nd half. That's the end of 3. Camden County 54, Raines 13 at the 5th annual Fortegra Invitational, which is brought to you by Fortegra. Let's reach new heights together. CSI Companies, Your workforce solutions reinvented. Bono's Pit Barbecue, Land South Construction, and by Duval Motor Company, proudly serving Northeast Florida since 1916. Fourth quarter coming up in just a moment. Get ready to close out our first of 4 games today. Orange Park and Mandarin comes your way at 2 p.m. Good steal right off the inbound. And the spin cycle and score for Kobe Hobbs, still playing tough.
And that's what you want to see, Sean. You want to see kids continue to play with pride, play hard, no matter what the score is. Nice play by Hobbs, getting in the passing lane, getting the finish.
Even got a hand up in the face of Earl Murray, but the junior just too tough to defend today. Turnover in the backcourt. Murray wants the lob. With another bucket in front of the rim. Earl Murray has really impressed today. Like we said, 3-level score. He's proven it.
And he's been consistent throughout the duration of the game, scoring on all 3 levels. I like him. I like him a lot.
Good answer by Jay Childs. We're still seeing that. Maybe even more reinvigorated coming into the fourth quarter. LeClaire buries it. 4th 3 of the day off the bench for Corey LeClaire at a team-high 20 points in yesterday's win. Loss, I should say.
He's a confident shooter. And as shooters, you need games like this sometimes where you're able to you have a high margin of error. If you miss one, you know, it's not really detrimental to the outcome of the game. He should go into the rest of the season with high confidence. He shot it very well today so far.
You're not going to dog him for one from the corner?
No. You know, like I say, that's my own personal heat check theory. Like, I know it's not popular, but
saying as a team, not much Camden County has done wrong today. They'll give it up the floor. One of the new Wildcats to check in, Jack Braddock. The sophomore on, as we assume Billy Moore will start to empty the bench early in this fourth quarter. Earl Murray in double figures. Corey LeClaire with 4 threes off the bench. Good effort inside by Geary and also to Nigel Cooper, the big men. And still going with full court pressure. Talk about habits. The Wildcats now taking it easy on the Vikings. They come up with another steal, but turn it over in the backcourt. The sophomore Braddock hesitated for a moment, wound up with a double dribble.
Wanted to pass it. Whoever he was deciding to pass it to got covered quick. Didn't allow him to make the pass.
Good open 3 on the way. It's short. Rebound LeClaire. Nice job up the floor. He finds Braddock. He's trying to hustle, trailing 61-17. That's what's tough. The score not exactly indicative of the talent they have on their team. You're down probably your 4 best players.
Yeah.
You can't just replace that in any game.
And, you know, for the kids that usually don't play that much, it's an opportunity for them. You know, you don't put all the responsibility on them, but you know, there's an old adage that you're only as good as, you know, your worst player. So, you know, hopefully these kids have some takeaways from this game that they can improve upon You know, keep your head up. It's a long season. Just continue to improve. Keep a good attitude.
Strong drive. Hobbs with an acrobatic finish.
Nice athletic move by Hobbs there, the left.
Murray drops it off. I don't know if Geary was ready for it. Raines was all over it either way. Good cut, extra pass to the corner. Great teamwork from Raines. Can't result in the 3.
You know, that's a takeaway. That's a good possession. Good paint touch with a kick out. Like, that's a good takeaway. He doesn't make the shot, but that's a positive possession.
Geary misses in front. Raines has the rebound. They have numbers. 3 on the way. It's short. Omarion White looking to get on the board there in the final 3 minutes. Pass inside, mismatch. How about that again? Kobe Hobbs holding his ground, forcing the miss. And Raines a little too fast up the floor. Toss it out of bounds. See the bench start to come in for Camden County. DeAndre Battle Dickerson on. Landon Martin also off the bench. Trying to get one more sub before the inbound. This will be Mason Robinson, the starting quarterback for the 8-4 Camden County Wildcats. Great season they had this past year. Won a state playoff game.
Like the facilities, I had a chance, you know, my two years that I coached at Paxson, we played at Camden County. They have wonderful facilities. Their floor it's the way it sits, it's almost like you're on a stage. It's a great environment for a high school basketball game. And then their overall facilities are just great. And, you know, it's good to play against competition like that that's close by. We're lucky being in Jacksonville. We're right on the border to where you can go play at Brunswick. You can go play at Glenn Academy or Camden County. So glad to see Coach Moore continue to participate in the Fortegra.
Yeah, and you know, they said to us before the game, last year was very intense. They had a good team that, yeah, didn't have a winning record, but, boy, they really pushed the pace, and they got better as the season went on. And they even said, you know, this year 1-6, but we're starting to gel. We lost our top 5 scorers in minutes per game. Like we said in the first half, you don't just replace that. They said it takes time and game experience. You can't always simulate stuff in practice that you're going to have in games and the different scenarios that come up. But like you said, 3 games in 3 days, you're going to see just about every type of basketball possible.
You know, Sean, and I think one thing that's underestimated, when you have football players that play an important role in your program, it takes a while to get them acclimated to what you're doing. And when you have all basketball guys that have a chance to play 2 or 3 games before the football kids arrive, then that's a total different animal because guys are getting used to taking certain shots, playing certain minutes. Then here come the football guys taking some of those shots and some of those minutes. So it's always a big adjustment.
Wildcats thinking about a shot. They'll take it here. It's off the mark. Second chance. Get some more bench points, Wildcats. Jalen Johnson, the sophomore, gets what we assume to be the final Wildcats points of the day. Final 10 seconds for Kobe Hobbs and Raines. Puts this one up, can't get it to fall, and that ends it. From start to finish, the Wildcats dominate the first game of the day of the Fortegra Invitational. 63-21 over the Raines Vikings. We'll have Coach Billy Moore on headset in just a couple of minutes after they put their name in the bracket. What takeaways can you get from this one if you're Camden County?
Your offense was very good to start the game from start to finish. Your ball movement, the unselfishness, a lot of paint touches, catch and shoot threes, great help side defense at the basket. They have some solid takeaways to take away that should catapult them into the rest of the season.
Earl Murray leading the team. He does the scoring. He might as well place the name on the bracket, but a total team effort today for Camden County. Very consistent effort, too.
Yeah, you know, Coach Moore is a veteran coach, and, you expect nothing less from his guys. And like I say, he has football players that play a vital role in their program. So, you know, I expect for them to continue to improve as those football players get acclimated to what they're trying to do.
Camden County gets the win. All smiles before they head back home on that 40-minute bus ride. We'll be joined by Coach Billy Moore in just a moment, who's been with Camden County Schools since 1996, now in his 10th year as the head coach of the Wildcats. Good, solid team effort, performances all week long. Never easy to play 3 games in 3 days, but well, even the early start didn't seem to bother his Wildcats today. Once again, 63-21, the final score. Coach Moore's putting on the headset right now for us. Billy, take us through it. We saw Earl get off to a hot start for you guys, but it seemed like a solid team win all around for 32 minutes.
Yeah, we started off with some good outside shooting, got the ball inside. After that, we were able to hit shots early, and it kind of put them in a situation I don't think they could play the game they want to play. So anytime you start early and you can get things working early, things just fall into place.
Yeah,
so.
We were talking about it throughout the game, too. It's not easy when you lose your top 5 scorers and minutes per game from last year's team.
Yep.
We know you were in this event a couple years ago, too. And then after this tournament, you won 4 straight games. You finished the season with a winning record after that point. What are the lessons this team learned today and this week, and how can you carry that moving forward?
Well, there's a lot of good teams in this tournament. It's a great tournament, and anytime you play teams that you got to learn to play different styles, and when you can do that, you can go into the season, into the regular season, and it just helps out. It's a great, we go through adversity every year. We have one guy really that's coming back that has a lot of minutes, and we were able to use the experiences of playing here and take it on to the regular season. And it's usually a positive outcome. So
we just saw your boys jumping around. They're trying to get you on camera and everything. How much fun's that bus ride going to be back home today?
We'll see. We've been struggling a little bit, and it's not the way. It's not so much that we've been struggling. We've been struggling against some really good teams early in the season. So playing in a tournament like this again is just experience that we're not going to see teams that are this good all season long. So we just learn to play against good competition, and then we take it to the regular season. Hopefully it works out.
Yeah, big win today, Coach. Thanks for stopping by. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, man.
Billy Moore in his 10th year stopping by. Always appreciate his time. The Wildcats win big 63-21 over the Raines Vikings.